Okay, let's talk about wonder from page 200 to 20. So Justin in this part is talking about the fairness or unfairness of the universe. So he thinks that the life is made up of such random factors. So life is just like a lottery. So when we are born into this world, some of us could be born into a very rich and loving family, or some of us could be born into a poor family that does not give you much affection and love. And some of us might be born into North Korea, and some of us lucky ones were born into rich countries like South Korea. So, why does this happen to innocent people who didn't make any faults in their lives? So, Justin is trying to make sense of the suffering and inequality that people experience in this world. And then Augie Pullman, he didn't make any faults, but then through the actions of the DNA, he's born with this deformity in his face. But then he comes to this comforting conclusion: despite this randomness, the universe eventually takes care of its little birds in unseen ways. So there is a quote, it says that, well, maybe it's a lottery. So at the very last part, but the universe makes it all even out in the end. The universe takes care of all its little birds. So how does the universe make up for the uh, the misfortune that Augie Pullman has? So Augie has the loving family, loving parents, and very protective sister Via, and then loyal friends such as Jack and Summer at school, and then Miranda, the pink-haired girl who has been really supportive throughout his childhood, bought him an astronaut helmet. So, so Justin wants to suggest that there could be hardships in our lives, but in the middle of the hardship, there is always a balance maintained by the universe. So uh, misfortunes and unlucky events can happen to us, but then we have to appreciate the good parts in our lives because these are the events that make our misfortune and hardship even eventually. Yeah. And then I asked you to find out the simile that's mentioned on page 207. Simile is like a metaphor. You are likening something to something more general and something more familiar so that you can convey the imagery and convey the emotions better. So the example of a simile could be like, oh, my mom's smile is just like warm sunshine of the spring day. So this how is Augie using the simile in this part? So he is likening his feelings to a drizzle and then later to a hurricane. So Augie is pretty much used to being stared at all the time in his daily life, and that is just like walking in a drizzle. So when it drizzles, it rains just a little bit, but it's still bearable. It's not that annoying. But then when all of the parents are invited to the school, and then when all of the parents look at Augie because they are not familiar with Augie's appearance, then that's so much pressure and that's so uncomfortable. So it's like hurricane overwhelming him. So this use of simile was very effective because we could feel the intensity of his feelings. So if we are walking in the drizzle, it's okay. It's a little bit uncomfortable. We can still bear it. But trying to walk under the hurricane, it just completely throws you off balance. And then you are having this intense emotion and intense experience. So we can sort of effectively experience how Augie is feeling at that moment. Yeah. And then I wanted you to think about the symbolism of Augie losing his sense of hearing. And then this part is right next to the part when Augie is losing his dog Daisy, and I think these two being juxtaposed against each other is not a coincidence because Augie sort of losing his sense of hearing means that he doesn't really listen to other people and he doesn't really attend to other people's feelings, and he's turning a little bit selfish because Augie is so used to getting all the attention within the family, and then he's the special one, and he always needs to be taken care of. So he yells at mom and yells at Via and runs to his room, covers his face with a blanket, and waits for other people approach him and comfort him and soothe him. But then, learning that Daisy is dying, and when after learning that not everything is about him, he realizes that sometimes he needs to reach out to others, and sometimes he needs to make the effort to communicate with others. So August losing his sense of hearing means that he was getting a little bit self-centered and selfish, but then he got the equipment so that he could hear much better, so that he could I think this is a symbolic meaning that show that Augie, by getting the equipment that clarified his sense of hearing, he was able to relate to other people more, and he was able to consider things from other people's perspective. And then he learned that through his school life and also the incident of Daisy, the dog, passing away. Okay, this is pretty much it for today. Thank you for watching.